You think humans can't laugh? The alien girl proved him wrong. The twin suns of Proxima b hung low in the dusty orange sky, baking the sprawling spaceport of Dock 9. Metal towers shimmered like mirrors in the heat, and voices of a dozen alien traders filled the air. Spices, engines, and ozone mixed into one heavy smell. The crowd moved like a living wave, haggling, shouting, laughing. Through that wave walked Lieutenant Cole Rayner, a tall human with sharp gray eyes and the calm stride of a soldier. His black uniform, once proud, was now stained with dust and sweat. A heavy sack was slung over his shoulder, classified cargo, top priority. His orders were clear: deliver it safely to the human embassy. Simple on paper, dangerous in a place like Dock 9. Beside him, skipping to keep up, was Lyra Taval, lavender-skinned, small and smiling like she had no idea how serious this was. She wore a thin silver suit that shimmered when the suns hit it. Her large violet eyes studied everything with childlike wonder. "On my planet," she said brightly, "we say the heavier the load, the lighter the heart." Cole grunted, shifting the weight of the sack. "That makes no sense." "Exactly," she said, as if she had just told the funniest joke in the galaxy. He sighed. "And this is why humans don't think aliens are funny." Lyra gasped, pretending to be offended. "Not funny? I studied interspecies humor for 2 cycles. That's not a real class." "It is," she insisted. "Want to hear a joke?" "Not really. Why did the human cross the asteroid belt?" He frowned. "Please don't." "To get to the other tide," she said proudly, then laughed at her own punchline, a sound like wind chimes caught in a breeze. Cole didn't laugh. "That doesn't even make sense." Lyra pointed a glowing finger at him. "See, that's your problem. You humans take everything literally." He rolled his eyes. 3 days ago, he was commanding a tactical squad. Now he was babysitting a diplomat's daughter who thought bad jokes were a bridge to peace. The crowd thinned as they turned into a narrower alley. The noise of the marketplace faded. The air was cooler here, but heavier. Cole's instincts prickled. He slowed down. "Stay close," he muttered. Lyra tilted her head. "You always say that." "Do you expect danger around every corner?" Yes, he was right. 3 figures stepped out of the shadows ahead. 2 massive Dravari with scaled arms like steel cables, and a thin human in a dark suit, smiling like a viper. "Well, well," the man drawled. "A UNSF officer, a Tapal noble, and a very suspicious-looking sack. Welcome to my street." Cole stopped walking. "Your street?" The man spread his arms. "Name's Cade Marlowe. I manage this sector of Dock 9, and that bag looks expensive." "Diplomatic cargo," Cole said coldly. "Protected under Concord law." "Ah," Marlowe said, smirking. "And I'm sure the Concord will arrive any minute to protect you, yes?" The Dravari stepped forward. Cole dropped the sack to the ground slowly, his muscles tightening. His hand drifted toward his holster. "Touch that bag," he warned, "and you'll regret it." Before anyone could move, Lyra suddenly raised her voice. "And you say I'm not funny, human male?" Everyone froze. "What?" Cole asked, confused. Lyra winked at him, then looked back at Marlowe. "You know what happens when a human, 2 lizards, and a thief walk into an ambush?" The smile on Marlowe's face faltered. "What are you talking about?" Lyra's grin widened. "I don't know. But I think we're about to find out." A sharp whine filled the air, energy weapons charging. Then chaos exploded. Bolts of blue fire rained from the rooftops. The ground erupted in dust and sparks. Cole reacted instantly, grabbing the sack with one arm and pulling Lyra down behind a crate with the other. Marlowe dove beside them, cursing. "Friends of yours?" Cole shouted over the noise. "Not a chance," Marlowe barked back. "Those are Verax mercs, and they don't leave survivors." A Dravari enforcer screamed as a plasma shot hit his chest, smoke rising from the wound. Cole's heart pounded. He peeked over the crate, 6, maybe 8 shooters on the roofs. No cover ahead, no way out behind. Lyra crouched beside him, hair glowing faintly in the reflected fire. "This is exciting," she whispered. "Exciting?" Cole snapped. "We're being ambushed." She smiled weakly. "On my world, this is called a learning experience," Cole groaned, checking his blaster. "Remind me to drop you off at the next sane planet." The crate behind them exploded. Metal shards flew. Cole threw himself over Lyra as the heat scorched his back. This wasn't a robbery anymore. Someone wanted the cargo, and they wanted it bad. Cole grit his teeth. "Stay low," he said. When I move, run. Lyra nodded, her earlier humor fading into something sharper. For the first time, Cole saw it, steel behind the laughter. He counted down under his breath. 3, 2, 1. He moved, and the war began again. Blaster fire tore through the air as Cole Rayner dashed forward, dragging Lyra with him. Heat seared his shoulder. Metal hissed under the assault. He dove behind a broken cargo hauler, teeth clenched, heartbeat thundering like a war drum. Behind that wall, Marlowe shouted, pointing to a narrow metal panel at the alley's end. The man's voice was hoarse but steady, the kind of tone used by someone who had escaped death more than once. Cole didn't question him. Move. The three sprinted through smoke and chaos. One of the Dravari mercenaries, Sark, followed close behind, his reptilian scales glinting under the plasma flashes. Sark tossed something metallic behind them. A second later, the alley bloomed with light and sound. Flashbang grenade. The Verax shooters screamed as their optics overloaded. The wall panel slid open when Marlowe pressed his palm to a scanner hidden beneath a loose brick. Cold air rushed out from the dark space beyond. Maintenance tunnels, Marlowe grunted. Not on any public map. Cole didn't hesitate. He shoved Lyra inside first, then followed with the sack. The door sealed shut behind them, muting the chaos outside. Darkness swallowed them. Only a thin red glow pulsed along the floor strips. The air was damp and smelled of iron. Cole exhaled hard. You want to tell me who those mercs were? Marlowe gave a sharp laugh. Verax paid guns, but this time not by me. Lyra brushed dust off her silver suit. Her usual smile was gone. Someone knew we'd be here. They planned the ambush. Yeah, Cole muttered, scanning the tunnel. And that means one of you leaked our route. The silence that followed was heavy. Sark's golden eyes flicked between them but said nothing. After a long moment, Marlowe smirked. You can put your weapon down, soldier. If I wanted your cargo, I'd have let them kill you and taken it off your corpse. Noted, Cole said flatly, but he didn't lower his gun. They began walking. The tunnel curved downward, metal walls dripping with condensation. Strange humming echoed in the distance. Engines? Machinery? Cole couldn't tell. Lyra broke the silence. You humans are always suspicious. Experience, Cole replied. You know, she said softly. When I was a child, I thought humans were mythical, brave, reckless, funny. Funny, he said, glancing at her. Your species laughs in the face of danger, she said, half smiling again. Even when everything burns, Cole didn't answer. He'd laughed once in another war on another planet, before too many people stopped laughing back. They reached a junction where the tunnel split 3 ways. Marlowe crouched beside a dim console, wiping dust off its cracked screen. We go left, he decided. Takes us closer to my safe house. We can rest and figure out what's chasing you. Not chasing us, Cole corrected. They're after what's in this bag. Lyra's eyes flicked toward the sack on his shoulder. You don't even know what it is, do you? No, he said honestly. And at this point, I'm not sure I want to. Suddenly, a metallic clang echoed from behind them. Heavy footsteps. Not one set. Many. Company. Sark hissed, his nostrils flaring. The sound grew louder, rhythmical, approaching fast. Cole raised his blaster. We move now, they ran. The tunnels turned narrow, water dripping from the ceiling. The red lights flickered. Cole's boots splashed through puddles as the echo of pursuit grew closer. Where does this lead? He barked. To the old colony levels. Marlowe replied between breaths. Abandoned mostly. Perfect for hiding or dying. Lyra stumbled on a loose grate but caught herself, laughing breathlessly. You humans love dramatic places. This isn't drama, Cole said. It's survival. They rounded a bend and stopped. The tunnel ahead had collapsed. Twisted metal and rubble blocked the way. Dead end, Marlowe muttered. Cole turned. The footsteps were nearly here. Shadows moved at the far end of the corridor. Red eyes gleamed in the dark. Guess it's time for another one of your jokes, Cole said grimly. Lyra smiled faintly, catching his tone. Oh, I have one. She touched a small disc on her belt. What happens when mercenaries chase a tapple through a tunnel? Before Cole could reply, she tossed the disc toward the ceiling. A burst of ion light filled the air. Energy crackled, fusing the collapsing metal into a molten curtain that sealed the tunnel behind them. The air smelled like lightning and burnt ozone. Cole blinked, stunned. You had that the whole time? Lyra gave a proud grin. Timing is everything in comedy. Marlowe laughed once, low and surprised. Even Sark's scaled mouth twitched. Cole just shook his head, almost smiling. You're insane. Maybe, Lyra said, dusting her suit. But you're still alive because of me. They pressed on through a maintenance hatch Marlowe found half buried under debris. It opened into a vertical shaft lined with rusted ladders. Far below, faint light pulsed, a sign of power still active somewhere in the Undercity. Cole looked down, then at the sack. Whatever's in this bag, he muttered. It better be worth it. Lyra tilted her head, eyes glimmering in the red light. Oh, Lieutenant, she said softly, you have no idea. Cole tightened his grip on the bag strap and began to climb down. The darkness below hummed with ancient energy, alive like a waiting beast. Somewhere deep under Port Meridian, secrets older than humanity itself were waking up, and they were climbing straight into them. The ladder seemed endless. Each rung was slick with condensation, each breath heavier than the last. Cole Rayner's arms ached, but he didn't stop climbing. Above him, Lyra Taval's faint silver glow painted soft ripples across the steel walls. Below, Marlowe's curses echoed in rhythm with the distant hum of machinery, buried deep beneath Port Meridian. After what felt like hours, the shaft widened into a large circular hatch. Marlowe climbed past Cole and keyed in a code on a corroded panel. A soft click sounded and the metal door rolled open. Welcome to my second home, Marlowe said, stepping through first. Cole followed, gun drawn out of habit. The room beyond was nothing like he expected. Clean, bright, hidden behind layers of rust and decay. Marlowe's safe house was a slice of another world. Walls lined with gleaming panels, old military-grade computers humming quietly. A faint smell of recycled air and burnt circuits. Sark, the Dravari enforcer, entered last, his heavy tail scraping against the floor. I do not trust this place, he growled. You don't trust anything, Marlowe replied, pouring himself a drink from a half-empty bottle. That's why you're still alive. Cole placed the sack gently on a reinforced table in the center of the room. The fabric was scorched, edges frayed from the earlier battle. He rested his hands on it, eyes narrowed. All this death for a bag. Whatever's inside, someone's willing to burn a city for it. Lyra stood opposite him, her tone suddenly quiet. We shouldn't open it. Cole's jaw tightened. If it's putting people in the line of fire, I have to know why. Marlowe shrugged, swirling his glass. He's got a point, Princess, Lyra glared. Don't call me that. Oh, right, Marlowe said with a smirk. Ambassador's daughter, not a princess. My mistake. Cole sliced open the sack before the argument could escalate. The fabric fell away, and the room filled with a faint hum. Nestled inside a padded container was a sphere, no larger than a human fist. It looked metallic at first glance, but its surface rippled like liquid light. Soft blues and silvers flowed across it, reflecting the room in strange, distorted patterns. Lyra's eyes widened. That's impossible. Sark stepped closer, his scaled fingers twitching. I have seen relics, Commander, but never this. Cole looked up. What is it? Lyra hesitated. It's a helix core, a lost artifact from before the Great Expansion. It's supposed to be myth. Marlowe's smile faded. Myth? That thing just cost me half a district. The helix core, Lyra continued, her voice trembling slightly, was said to store the genetic blueprints of early human design. What your species was before the Concord rewrote your biology. Cole frowned. You're telling me that thing holds DNA? Not just DNA, Lyra said softly. Knowledge, history, everything your ancestors sealed away. The room fell silent. Then the core pulsed. Once, like a heartbeat. A faint red light blinked at its center. Cole's instinct screamed. That's a tracker. Marlowe slammed his drink down and rushed to the console. He's right. Multiple signals inbound. They're not Variks this time. Lyra's hands flew over the holographic display. Tapal diplomatic cruisers and mercenaries. They've taken control of the environmental system. They're threatening to vent 3 residential blocks unless we hand over the core. Cole's blood went cold. How many people? Almost 9,000, Marlowe replied grimly. Civilians, families. Sark's eyes glowed faintly. We cannot fight both fleet and airlocks. Lyra pressed a trembling hand to her chest. I didn't know this would happen. My father said it was technology for peace. Cole turned to her sharply. Your father sent you with this? She nodded, tears glinting like quicksilver. He said it would help humanity reconnect with what it lost. I didn't know it was stolen. Stolen or not, Marlowe interrupted. You've got 20 minutes before Doc Command blows half the district into vacuum. Cole stared at the pulsing light on the core. If they get this, it's over. If we destroy it, we might lose something humanity can't replace. Lyra looked at him with sudden steel in her eyes. Then we don't destroy it. We protect it. And we save those people first. For a second, the soldier and the alien locked eyes, an unspoken agreement passing between them. Cole holstered his weapon. Marlowe, how many entry points to the environmental hub? 2. One's a main hall crawling with guards. The other's a service vent. Narrow, dangerous, but it'll get you close. I'll take the vent, Cole said. You handle the diversion. Marlowe raised an eyebrow. You trust me with that? No, Cole said flatly. But I don't have better options, Lyra stepped forward. I'm going with you, Cole shook his head. No, you stay here. She crossed her arms. You'll need me. The control system is Tapple Tech. You can't even read the interface, he hesitated. She was right, Sark rumbled low. Commander, she may be the only one who can unlock it. Cole sighed. Fine, but stay behind me at all times. Lyra gave a small, defiant smile. You humans and your rules. Cole picked up the helix core, wrapping it carefully in the sack again. Its soft light flickered through the fabric like a heartbeat, as if it could hear them. He looked at Lyra, then at Marlowe. If we don't make it back, seal the tunnels and run. Marlowe smirked. Oh, I never stick around for funerals. Cole slung the sack over his shoulder, turned toward the steel hatch leading deeper into the tunnels and said quietly, Let's go save 9,000 lives. Lyra followed close behind. The red glow of the core painting both their faces in the dark, and as they disappeared into the steel veins beneath Port Meridian, the hum of the artifact deepened, no longer just a sound but something alive, something waiting to be awakened. The tunnel leading to the environmental control hub was narrow and pulsing with heat. Metal pipes hissed like snakes as steam burst through cracked seams. Cole Rayner crawled first, the dim red lights reflecting off his sweat-dampened uniform. Behind him, Lyra Taval followed silently, her lavender skin glowing faintly in the dark. The hum of the helix core inside the sack on Cole's back had grown louder, rhythmic, almost alive. Still think this is a diplomatic mission? Cole muttered as they reached a vent grill. Lyra exhaled, half a laugh and half guilt. I think my father had a different definition of diplomacy. Cole peered through the grill. Below, the control hub stretched wide and circular, glowing in pale blue light. Dozens of consoles surrounded a tall energy column in the center, the station's life support nexus. A team of armed mercenaries patrolled the floor. They weren't Tapal or human. They were Dracan, cold-blooded killers with scaled armor and gleaming rifles. Cole counted 8 of them. You ever fight before or just joke your way through negotiations? Lyra shot him a sharp look. You'd be surprised what I learned between jokes. He smirked faintly, then kicked the vent open. They dropped down into a shadowed corner. The hub smelled of ozone and burning metal. Red warning lights flashed across the upper walls. Atmospheric control override. Pending execution in 15 minutes. Lyra crouched beside a console, her fingers moving like a pianist's. The alien interface flickered to life beneath her touch, lines of Tapal script dancing across the screen. They're using remote lockdown codes, she whispered. I can override them, but I'll need at least 5 minutes. You've got 2, Cole said, checking his rifle's charge. One of the Draken guards turned their way, sensing movement. Cole fired once, clean, quiet. The body hit the ground without a sound. The others didn't notice. Yet, Tapal encryption's layered, Lyra said under her breath, her eyes flicking violet in the screen's glow. It's familiar, almost like my father's signature. Cole froze mid-step. Your father's? Before she could answer, the core inside the sack pulsed bright blue. The hum shifted, deep and resonant. Lyra's hands faltered. It's responding to something. Make it stop, Cole hissed. I can't. It's syncing with the station systems. The core surged, sending a wave of energy through the room. Lights flickered, consoles glitched, alarms screamed. The remaining Drakens whirled toward the control podium. Cole grabbed Lyra's arm and dragged her behind cover as plasma bolts tore through the air. Great, he muttered. We're officially noticed. Lyra peeked out, raising her hand. A small energy sphere formed at her palm and shot forward, bursting like lightning against a guard's armor. The Draken screamed and fell. Cole blinked. You could do that the whole time? Lyra gave a breathless grin. Taval combat training. Electrokinesis is less talking, more zapping. They fought side by side, human precision and alien agility. Cole's blaster burned through the chaos. Lyra's hands danced with blue electricity. The hum of the core intensified until the air itself seemed to vibrate. When the last guard fell, the hub was a haze of smoke and light. Lyra returned to the console, typing fast. I'm rerouting environmental control, sealing the pressure valves. Her tone shifted. Wait, there's another signal inside the system. It's not just them. Cole moved to her side. The holographic feed displayed encrypted transmissions bouncing between Taval diplomatic frequencies. Lyra's voice dropped to a whisper. That's my father's encryption code. He's in direct contact with whoever ordered the override. Cole's jaw clenched. Your father hired mercs to kill 9,000 civilians? No, her hands shook. He wouldn't. But someone close to him might have used his access. Before he could reply, the core floated upward from the sack, weightless, humming. Its surface shifted from blue to white, then burst with light. A vision flashed across their minds. Earth, long ago, cities of glass and energy, people with luminous eyes moving through towers that touched the clouds. Then flames, silence, a world undone by its own perfection. Cole staggered, gripping his head. What was that? Lyra looked just as shaken. A memory, from the core. It's showing us what humanity once was. The core drifted toward the central column. Its energy merged with the nexus systems, stabilizing them. The alarms faded one by one. On the console, a message appeared in perfect English. Atmosphere secured. Human presence verified. Evolution sequence pending. Cole stared at the words. What does that mean? Lyra swallowed hard. It's not just a data vault. It's a key, and it thinks you're the one it's been waiting for. Before he could respond, the comm system blared to life. This is Counselor Taval of the Taval Diplomatic Corps. Human vessel detected. Lieutenant Cole Rayner, you are in possession of stolen property. Power down and surrender immediately. Lyra froze. Her father's voice echoed through every speaker. Cole turned to her. He found us. Lyra met his eyes, fear and defiance mixing in her expression. Then we don't run, she said. We finish what the Corps started. Cole checked his rifle, steady and calm now. You have a plan? Her lips curved faintly. You're not going to like it. Wouldn't be the first time. The lights dimmed, the hum deepened, and the core glowed like a living star, ready to awaken something far beyond either of them. And as ships descended toward Port Meridian, humanity's oldest secret began to breathe again. Sirens wailed across Port Meridian as the walls of the control hub trembled. The comm screens above flashed red. Taval vessels were descending fast. The station's defense grid was already disabled. They had minutes before they were surrounded. Cole Rayner slung the sack with the glowing helix core over his shoulder, its pulse steady against his spine. We need to move now. Lyra Taval's fingers flew across the console. The main exits are locked. My father's ships control every gate. Then we don't use gates. Cole pointed to the ceiling. There's an old maintenance tram that connects the hub to the outer shipyard levels. We'll take that. Lyra glanced up, her violet eyes glowing faintly in the flicker of the emergency lights. That line was decommissioned decades ago. Then let's hope it still runs. Behind them, Marlowe's voice crackled through the comms. Bad news, soldier boy. I've got company topside, lots of it. Your little stunt with the Corps has the whole port lighting up like New Year's. You got about 10 minutes before every merc on payroll shows up. Buy us 10, Cole replied, climbing onto a maintenance lift. 10 minutes in this city? You better owe me a drink if I live. Make it 2. The lift screeched upward through the narrow shaft, sparks raining down. Lyra clung to the railing, hair whipping in the hot air. If we survive this, she muttered, I'm rewriting the human definition of fun. Cole smirked. You're assuming humans survive anything long enough to write about it. The lift burst through a hatch and stopped inside a vast chamber filled with rusted machinery. The tram station stretched out before them, half-collapsed tracks, dangling cables, shattered screens blinking weakly. But the tram itself still sat there covered in dust, humming with low dormant power. Cole wiped grime from a console. UNSF markings. Old Earth tech. I can wake it. He powered up the system. The tram lights flickered on one by one as if remembering what they once were. Lyra stepped inside, her eyes scanning the alien engineering blended with human framework. Your people and mine built this together. Yeah, Cole said quietly. Back when we still believed in building things instead of stealing them. The platform shook. A Draken dropship smashed through the upper level, scattering debris. Mercenaries rappelled down, shouting orders. Cole yanked Lyra inside and hit the throttle. The tram roared forward, throwing both of them against the metal walls. Blue energy surged down the magnetic rails, cutting through darkness like lightning. Bolts of plasma fire followed them, shattering panels and igniting sparks. One round tore through the roof, missing Cole's head by inches. They're aiming for the core, Lyra shouted. Cole leaned over the controls, teeth clenched. Then we make sure they never get it. The tram rocketed through a tunnel lined with old holographic ads still, flickering from centuries past, smiling. Humans promising a better tomorrow. The irony wasn't lost on him. An explosion rocked the car. The rear half of the tram disintegrated in fire, throwing shards of molten metal into the cabin. Lyra screamed as Cole pulled her down. The core vibrated violently, light pulsing with each tremor. It's reacting to the stress, Lyra gasped. Cole steadied her. Or it's trying to protect itself. As the tunnel curved upward, the ceiling ahead burst open. Daylight poured in. Above them stretched the outer docks, open to space through a shimmering energy field. Massive ships floated beyond, engines glowing in silent readiness. Lyra's eyes widened. That's the Aegis-class shipyard. Half these vessels were never finished. Then we finish one, Cole said. The tram derailed, crashing through the barrier gate and skidding across the dock floor. Sparks flew as it finally stopped against a wall. Cole staggered out, pulling Lyra up beside him. The docks were chaos, alarms blaring, workers fleeing, security drones scanning the area. A shadow fell over them, a Tapal cruiser lowering toward the platform. Through its translucent hull window, Lyra saw her father standing at the command bridge, expression grim. He's here, she whispered. Then we better leave before family dinner, Cole said, sprinting toward the largest vessel, a half-constructed warship with massive, unfinished cannons and a faded nameplate, UNSF Prometheus. Lyra hesitated at the boarding ramp. It's incomplete. Cole grinned. So are we. He powered the access terminal, but it rejected his code. The core pulsed again, slipping from his bag and hovering toward the console. Its glow spread across the system, lines of light tracing through every cable. The ship came alive with a deep, resonant hum. Lyra gasped. It's linking with the ship. It recognizes the human design. The engines roared to life. Lights flickered through the hull. Cole stepped onto the bridge as the vessel awakened, ancient systems syncing with the core's energy. Outside, the Tapal cruiser locked weapons. Marlowe's voice crackled again over the comm. You've got a cruiser aiming at your head, Raynor. You better pray that thing can fly. Cole took the pilot's chair, fingers dancing across the controls. Don't need prayers, he smirked. I've got a very old secret on my side. The Prometheus lifted from the dock, shedding dust and sparks like a rising god. Lyra braced herself beside him. They'll fire. Then let's give them a reason to miss. Cole pushed the throttle. The unfinished warship blasted forward, breaking free of the port's gravity field as plasma rounds streaked past the viewport. Behind them, the docks exploded in a storm of fire and smoke. Lyra looked back, eyes wide with awe. You just stole a prototype battleship from under a diplomatic fleet. Cole's grin was all teeth. I prefer the word borrowed. The core pulsed in his chest pocket. Brighter now, almost approving. For the first time since the war began, Cole Raynor didn't feel like he was running, he felt like he was becoming. Space stretched endless and black, speckled with silver stars that shimmered like ancient eyes. The UNSF Prometheus, half finished, half alive, cut through the void with a hum that was older than its own hull. The Helix core floated in the air between Cole Raynor and Lyra Taval, pulsing like a heart, its light rhythmically matching the ship's vibrations. Below them glimmered Europa, the ice-covered moon of Jupiter. Its surface was a frozen mirror, fractured by glowing blue veins that traced unknown patterns under the crust. Cole leaned forward over the console. If I didn't know better, he muttered, I'd say the planet's alive. Lyra studied the readings. Those aren't thermal vents. They're energy signatures, same as the core. Cole shot her a look. You're saying that thing's calling to the moon? She nodded slowly. Not the moon. Something under it. Before he could respond, the ship's radar screamed. Dozens of red markers appeared on the display. Tappel ships forming a blockade in high orbit. At their head, the shimmering command cruiser of Counselor Taval, Lyra's father. Lyra's voice trembled slightly. He's here already. He means to stop us before we reach the surface, Cole's jaw set. Then we go through him. He tightened his grip on the controls, readying the thrusters. But before he could engage, a deep vibration rolled through the Prometheus. The lights dimmed, then flared to blinding white. Outside, space shimmered, like the stars themselves were rippling. Something massive emerged from behind Europa. It wasn't T'Pol. It wasn't human. A ship, ancient, sleek and impossibly vast, drifted forward, dwarfing even the Prometheus. Its hull glowed faintly with symbols written in languages neither of them recognized. Smooth, curved surfaces gleamed with blue and gold energy, like veins of living light. Lyra whispered, "That's not a vessel. That's a relic." Cole felt the hair rise on his neck. No, it's human. Look, those lines, that patterning, Earth geometry. Pre-expansion, the Prometheus's systems flickered. A calm, feminine voice, neither machine nor human, filled the bridge. Guardian vessel Eretheon acknowledges activation of Helix protocol. Designated human pilot Cole Rayner. Directive approach sequence granted. Lyra stared at him. It knows your name. Cole's voice was low. I never told it. Outside, the Guardian ship's engines glowed brighter, opening a corridor through the T'Pol blockade. Their vessels hesitated, none dared fire. Even the T'Pol viewed these lost human artifacts with reverence. Lyra's father appeared on the comms screen, his face tight with fury and fear. Cole Rayner, listen to me. That relic carries destruction. It's not what you think. Cole's voice stayed even. With respect, Counselor, your definition of destruction and mine differ. You tried to vent civilians for this thing. Taval's eyes flickered to his daughter. Lyra, don't let him use it. The last time humanity unlocked those systems, it nearly tore the galaxy apart. Lyra looked between them, torn. Father, if that's true, then why keep it hidden? Why not tell them the truth? Because truth destroys trust, Taval said softly. And humans were not ready. Cole clenched his fists. We'll decide that for ourselves. He cut the transmission. The Prometheus aligned itself with the corridor of light from the Eretheon. Lyra took a seat beside him. Eyes locked on the Guardian ship as it began transmitting patterns into the Helix core. Spirals of data, ancient coordinates, and a single message. Proceed to the heart of Europa. The ship descended into the moon's icy atmosphere. Lightning flickered within the frozen clouds. The engines strained as gravity pulled them into the abyss. The ice cracked beneath them, revealing a yawning chasm filled with shimmering blue light. As the Prometheus neared the surface, Cole saw structures beneath the ice, vast rings, mechanical roots, glowing with the same energy as the core. It's a city, Lyra breathed, an entire civilization buried in the ice. The Helix core floated from its cradle, positioning itself at the viewport. Its voice, now clear and almost human, filled the cabin. Welcome, inheritors. The Nexus awaits. A burst of energy wrapped around the Prometheus, pulling it deeper. Lyra grabbed Cole's arm. This is it. This is where humanity's story began, and where it was meant to continue. He nodded slowly, eyes fixed on the glowing abyss below. Then let's make sure it doesn't end here. The Guardian ship followed them down, its golden light spreading across the ice like dawn breaking beneath the surface. Above, the T'Pol fleet held position, unwilling to fire on something so ancient, so untouchable. Below, the Prometheus plunged into Europa's secret core, the Helix light blazing brighter than ever, and humanity's forgotten destiny stirred once more. The Prometheus broke through the final layer of ice and sank into silence. Outside the viewport stretched a place that no map had ever recorded, a world beneath a world. Light danced through towering crystal spires that pulsed like living veins, glowing in rhythm with the Helix core still floating before Cole Rayner and Lyra Taval. It wasn't just a city. It was a biosphere, ancient and awake. Streams of blue energy flowed through glass-like channels. Giant rings of alloyed stone turned slowly, driven by unseen power. In the center of it all rose a circular platform crowned with a single column of light, pure, white, endless. The ship came to rest above it, engines whispering down to silence. The helix core drifted forward, aligning itself with the column. A voice echoed through the hull, soft, patient, filled with impossible wisdom. "Welcome, descendants of Earth. The Nexus recognizes your arrival." Lyra's hand trembled as she touched the window. "It's speaking to us." Cole unstrapped himself, stepping forward. "Then let's see what it has to say." The bridge doors slid open as they approached the central chamber. When they stepped inside, the air changed, lighter, electric, full of static warmth that prickled their skin. The core floated to the center, bathing everything in soft white glow. A figure began to form within the light. A tall, graceful woman with silver hair and eyes like stars. She was neither hologram nor flesh, but something in between, a projection with weight and breath. "I am Archivist Alaris, custodian of humanity's legacy," the figure said. "For 1,000 generations I have waited for one who carries both strength and compassion." Cole's voice was steady, though his pulse hammered. "You mean me?" "You were chosen by the core, Lieutenant Rayner. Tested by choice, not power." Lyra stepped closer. "And what about me?" Alaris smiled faintly. "You were the witness, proof that humanity's strength is not isolation but connection, that its future cannot exist without others." The room around them shimmered. Images unfolded, Earth shining and whole centuries before the Great Collapse. Cities floating above clouds, oceans glimmering with solar sails, people of every color and shape moving together, luminous with inner energy. Then fire, war. Sky turned to glass. The same brilliance that once uplifted humanity burned it nearly to extinction. "Humanity achieved perfection," Alaris said softly, "but forgot humility. The Nexus was created not as a weapon, but as a promise, to seal away your own power until you proved ready to wield it with wisdom." Cole clenched his jaw. "And now? Now you have shown what your ancestors could not. You chose mercy over victory, unity over pride. The protocol reawakens." The floor trembled as energy surged through the chamber. Outside the ship, the ice crust cracked open like the skin of a living creature. Massive spirals of light erupted upward, linking Europa to the stars above. Cole felt something within him, an awareness, as if the core was no longer separate but inside him, whispering ancient knowledge. He could feel his blood hum with strength and clarity. His vision sharpened. His breathing deepened. "Lyra," he said quietly, "I think it's changing me." She reached for his hand, her eyes wide with wonder, not fear. "It's not just you, Cole. It's sharing its gift through you." The holographic archivist extended a glowing hand. "The Nexus does not grant power," she said. "It restores balance. Every life you touch will awaken a fragment of what was lost. Empathy, endurance, understanding. This is the next step of human evolution." The comm system buzzed suddenly. Counselor Taval's voice, rough with static and emotion. "Lyra, Cole! The Guardian has broadcast your signal across the entire Tapal fleet. They're standing down. Whatever you've done, it's rewriting our instruments," Lyra smiled faintly. "Then it's working." "I was wrong," her father said, his voice trembling. "I feared what humanity might become, but now I see what it was always meant to be." Cole looked up at the archivist.
"What happens now?"
"Now," she said, "you return to the stars. The Nexus will not stay hidden any longer. Its light belongs to all who seek without greed." The core dissolved into countless motes of white energy, each drifting into the Prometheus, merging with the ship's systems. The vessel itself came alive, responding like a living organism. Cole turned to Lyra. "Ambassador Taval, you realize this makes you humanity's first alien diplomat." She tilted her head with that familiar, mischievous glint. "And you, Lieutenant, are officially the most reckless human alive." He laughed softly. "I'll take that." She leaned in close, her lavender skin glowing against the soft white light. "You know," she whispered, "there's a Tapal proverb. When laughter survives war, peace has already begun." He smiled. "You and your jokes again," she grinned. "Careful. You laughed last time. That makes me funny in 2 galaxies now." He pulled her closer. "Maybe it makes you perfect." The Prometheus rose from the chamber as the Nexus light expanded outward, illuminating the void. The Guardian ship followed, its ancient hull glowing like a star reborn. From above, Jupiter turned its red eye toward them as if witnessing the return of something it had long forgotten. Humanity's new dawn shimmered across the ice. Not as fire, but as understanding. Cole looked out at the glowing horizon. "We're not done," he said softly. "This is just the beginning." Lyra squeezed his hand. "Then let's make it worth the wait." And as the Prometheus broke back into open space, its hull shining with the reborn energy of the Nexus, two figures stood at the helm. A human soldier and an alien diplomat bound by courage, humor, and hope. For the first time in 10,000 years, the universe laughed with them.